Hi, my name is Katie, and I am going to be arguing the negative side of the debate whether or not the legalization of recreational marijuana use would be beneficial to the United States. So first off, I am going to start off by defining some terms. Blake already did a really good job of defining these terms in his speech, but I just want to define them in mine to have a reference for that. According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, a benefit is something that promotes well-being. Marijuana is defined as the dried leaves and flowering tops of the pistillate hemp plant that yields THC and are smoked in cigarettes for their intoxicating effect. Recreation is defined as a means of refreshment or diversion, or the refreshment of strength and spirits after work. If I prove that the negative effects of legalized recreational marijuana use would outweigh the positive, I should win this debate. My main contentions are, number one, that the health and safety risks of marijuana are far too great to feasibly outweigh any benefit it may have. And then the second is the supposed economic benefit that we would gain from taxing marijuana is not as great as it is made out to be. So to start off, marijuana is the most commonly abused illegal drug in the United States today and around the world. Those who support its legalization for medical or for general use fail to recognize that the greater costs of marijuana are not related to its prohibition. They're the costs of the marijuana use itself. When marijuana is smoked, which is the most common form of ingestion of marijuana, when it is smoked, the THC in marijuana rapidly passes from the lungs into the bloodstream, which carries the chemical to the brain and other organs throughout the body. However, regardless of the form of ingestion, THC acts on specific molecular targets on the brain cells called cannabinoid receptors. These receptors are ordinarily activated by chemicals similar to THC that occur naturally within the body. These chemicals are part of a neural communication network called the endocannabinoid system. And this system plays an important role in normal brain development and function. Marijuana use affects brain development, and heavy use by younger people may have effects on thinking and memory, and its effects may be long-lasting or even permanent. A recent study of marijuana users who began using in adolescence revealed substantially reduced connectivity among brain areas responsible for learning and memory. A large long-term study done in New Zealand showed that people who began smoking marijuana heavily in their teens lost an average of 8 whole IQ points between the ages of 13 and 38. Most importantly, the lost cognitive abilities were not fully restored in those who quit smoking marijuana as adults. Like I said before, the most common form of marijuana ingestion is smoking, and we all know that smoking is dangerous to our health. Marijuana smoke is an irritant to the lungs, and frequent marijuana users, specifically marijuana smokers, have been proven to have all of the same respiratory problems experienced by a tobacco smoker. This includes daily coughing, phlegm production, all of that thing. Users may experience more frequent acute chest illness and a heightened risk of lung infections. One study found that people who smoke marijuana but do not smoke tobacco have more health problems and missed more days of work than those who don't smoke marijuana. All of this information that I just stated had come from drugabuse.gov. That included everything. Also, from drugabuse.gov, this information states that the amount of THC in marijuana samples confiscated by the police has been increasing steadily over the past few decades. Now, what this means is that the potency of the marijuana that you are actually smoking is higher than in the past. Now, what this could mean is that potentially users could have unpredicted responses to the use of marijuana. There's a lot of things that we don't know about marijuana. It has been around a while, but there has not been that much research done to prove that anybody has similar reactions. As stated in the debates in class, everybody has different reactions, and there are over 800 different strains of marijuana that can affect people differently. But in 2012, in this study that was done to find out the potency of the THC in marijuana, concentrations in the marijuana averaged close to 15% of the THC. And then in the 80s, the concentration of the THC in the marijuana was only around 4%, just for reference. So clearly, at nearly 4 times as high the concentration, the marijuana that is on the market, I guess, for lack of a better word today, is a lot stronger, more potent than in the past. What this means for new users, this means that they are being exposed to higher concentrations of THC with a greater chance of adverse or unpredictable reactions. Additionally, because marijuana use seriously impairs judgment and motor coordination, marijuana may contribute to the risk of injury or death while driving a car. Now, it's not a secret that driving while impaired is one of the leading causes of death in the United States, whether it's driving under the influence of alcohol or other forms of mind-altering substances like drugs, marijuana, or even just texting and driving. These types of things, being distracted while driving or not being able to focus your full attention on the road while you're driving, causes car accidents. Although several studies have been done to find out this information, there is so much more research that needs to be done on marijuana and its side effects in order to safely legalize it and regulate it. So for the record, I would like to state that the economic benefits of legalizing marijuana for recreational use and taxing it seem clear. The tax revenue taken in from the legalization of recreational marijuana would be money coming in that we wouldn't be able to get anywhere else, right? Well, kind of. Following the model of alcohol and tobacco costs and the tax revenue brought in from those sales, according to CNBC, we spend about $185 billion in alcohol costs a year, and then in tobacco, that cost is nearly $200 billion each year. Now, for alcohol, we only bring in about an average of $14.5 billion in tax revenue, and then for tobacco, we bring in just a little bit more, about $25 billion on average each year in tax revenue for tobacco sales. So the cost for tobacco versus the tax revenue is nearly 8 times as much, and for alcohol, it's nearly 12 times, the cost is 12 times as much as the tax revenue taken in. So we're not coming out ahead on this. There is no logical reason to expect why the legalization of marijuana for recreational use, the production, legalization, everything, there's no reason to believe that the tax revenue that we collect from it would be greater than the costs to produce it. Again, like I said, following the model of alcohol and tobacco sales. This scenario would be absolutely economically disastrous for the United States, and considering the amount of national debt that we already have, I don't think that it would be a wise decision to support this legalization. When following the models again of alcohol and tobacco, it is clear that the amount of tax revenue being taken in is not greater than the cost itself. So it's easy to look on the surface of the facts and see, oh, the tax revenue being brought in from Colorado is so great, and that would be great if we could legalize it across the United States, because we would take in that much more money and we could use it to get ourselves out of national debt. But what people don't know is that the cost to do these things is greater than the amount of money that we're bringing into the government. So it is not beneficial in any way to legalize it for economic reasons. Additionally, even if for some reason we were able to find a way to legalize it, produce it, and have the revenue be greater than the cost to produce it, what is the benefit there when it comes compared to the cost of potentially ruining thousands, if not more, of Americans' lives? As previously stated, the health risks are just too great, too far unknown outside of that to legalize it with a sound mind. Legalizing it, yes, would bring in money to the government, like I said, that we are not getting elsewhere. But again, the costs outweigh the revenue. And then again, the health risks, as we see with alcohol, as we see with tobacco, these were great mistakes made by the government. Tobacco has been proven to cause lung cancer. Alcohol has been proven to lead the cause of deaths in vehicular accidents. College students die each year. Thousands and thousands die from alcohol poisoning. People get liver disease, cirrhosis, liver failure, all kinds of health risks associated with these things that we've legalized with good intentions. But now probably wish that we could go back and maybe undo that. These are my reasons why I think that marijuana for recreational use would not be beneficial to the United States. And I think I did a good job explaining these contentions. I think I did a good job negating Blake's, his two specific ones, the economic reasons and the social reasons. So yeah, that's my debate.